Hey guys, it's Dana. I told you you could never have too many bags, right? Well, today we're gonna make the process even easier. I'm gonna take a placemat and turn it into a really fun beach bag or a cute little purse. So let's get started. I love using, as Tim Gunn would say, unconventional items for a project. Now I know that a placemat isn't super unconventional, it's kind of just like fabric. But what I love is that the edges are all finished off, making it really easy to sew with. And sometimes there are fun elements like fringe, or you might find one that's quilted. There are tons of different options for all those cute placemats that you see at the store all the time. So here's what you need. 1 or 2 placemats and some cotton twill tape. Now let's measure and cut the handles for your bag. You can make them any length that you want, but I find that a pretty good general one is to give 24 extra inches for the top handle of your bag, plus the length of your placemat. So I'm taking my cotton twill tape, I'm gonna start at the bottom of the placemat, and you don't need to be precise where it is on the bag right now. We're just measuring. I'm hanging about 1/2 inch over, go up to the top, and then from here is where you wanna measure 24 inches. So take my little tape measure. There we go, 24 inches. And then go back down the other side. And right there. Okay, that's our whole length of one strap. Now let's fold it in half and we'll cut both straps. Oh man, look at that. I'm pretty good. Cut that. And then cut the whole thing in half. Okay, we've got 2 straps now. Let's pin the first one in place. Now the first thing you want to do is to fold this little edge under because it will start to fray over time. So fold that about 1/2 inch. And then we're gonna start at the bottom of the placemat. I'm measuring in about 3 inches. You can place your handle wherever you want. I just think that looks kind of nice. Place a little pin there, and then move it up to the top, again, 3 inches, and place a pin in that spot. And then just place a couple more in the middle, just to make sure you have a nice straight line when you're sewing. Okay, then we're gonna go around the top, make sure this is not twisted, so your handle will be nice and straight. Measure 3 inches on the other side, which is awesome with these quilted rulers, because they're 3 inches wide. Pretty perfect, okay. And pin those in place. And then I'm gonna go do the same thing with the other placemat. Okay, I pinned both of my handles. Let's go sew them in place. Now you want to use a thread color that's either going to coordinate with your straps or that might contrast. You might like a bright pop of orange or something like that. I've already threaded the bobbin of my machine, which is the bottom part, and now I'm just threading the top here. Just follow along all the markings on your machine. And the thing I love best about this baby lock is that I just come over here and press this little lever and it threads for me. Oh, I love it. Okay, now we're ready to go. Take your bag, start at the top of the strap, just put it right under there. And you always want to do a back stitch right at the beginning. And then just sew straight down. I'm sewing about 1/8 inch from the edge of that strap. There's no right or wrong, just whatever looks cute to you. That is the great thing about sewing. It's always an adventure, and you get to decide what you want to do. Okay, when you get to the bottom here, there's a lot of layers here, so you probably want to go pretty slow. If you need to adjust your speed control, you can always do that right over here. And it's important through all these thick pieces that you don't go too quickly or you might break one of your needles. Okay, when you get to the bottom, lift your presser foot, pivot and turn, sew down, pivot and turn again. It might get kind of awkward with your big placemat here, just kind of fold it around. And then go back up the other side. Okay. Just like that. And then sew across the top again. Pivot and turn. Okay, and then do a back stitch at the end. And cut your threads. I also love that feature on this baby lock. Cuts everything for me. Okay, now let's do the same thing with the other side. Go to your machine. Stick it under. Press our foot down. Little back stitch. The back stitch is what kind of ties a knot in your thread as you're sewing so that it doesn't unravel over time. That's why it's always important to do one at the beginning and at the end. I'm gonna go slow here. There we go. Pivot and turn. Across the bottom. Back up the side. You totally got the routine. These bags sew really quickly, which I love, and they make really fun gifts. I made a bunch of these one year as teacher gifts, and they were a big hit. Okay, back to the top, pivot and turn, do a back stitch, cut our threads, and now let's do the other side of the bag. Okay, this is our final step. I told you this bag was super easy, right? We just need to sew the two pieces together. So place one on top of the other, and I love it because we're just gonna sew on the outside of the placemats. So as you can see, I have both of the right sides facing out, so the wrong sides are touching each other. And just kind of match up the straps. Oh man, I didn't do a very good job. If you were more precise, you'd really want to make sure that these straps kind of lined up better. I'm going to pin down the sides, just in a few spots. You don't need a ton, it will kind of stick together on its own. Pin around the bottom, and then we're just going to sew down the side, around the bottom, and back up the other side. So let's go to our machine. Now it might be a little more difficult to sew through all these layers of placemats, depending on how thick yours are. So you might want to go a little bit slower just to make sure you don't break a needle. Okay, do a little back stitch. And if you find that it's just really hard to get through the really thick parts, you can always turn your machine manually over here with the knob, and that just helps the needle go up and down one at a time. Okay, there we go. We made it through that first little thick part. Now I'm just sewing down the side, removing my pins as I go. Okay, and when I get to the bottom, I'm gonna do a pivot and turn again. And along the bottom, I'm gonna try not to sew through this little hem that's on the placemat. That way I don't have to sew through as many layers at once. And I don't have to sew through the cotton twill tape that we folded under. Again, less layers. Okay, you can tell here that this is really thick, so again, I'm going really slow. Okay, now just go back up the other side. And we made it back to the end. Do a little back stitch. Cut your threads. And let's see how our beach bag looks. Ta-da! That's super cute. Oh man, makes me want to go to the beach already. Okay, let me show you a few other options. Now you can also make a cute little purse version like this. I made it using only one placemat. Like this, fold it in half, sew down the two sides, and then I just added some straps to the top. These ones are vinyl straps, and I sewed them the exact same way that I do in the tote bag video, so you can check that out for more information. Now another option is how I sewed the handles onto this cute little bag here. It's in one big continuous piece. So what I did is I have my placemat here, took my straps, and I had to kind of measure this ahead of time to make sure I had the right amount. Went around, back around and up to the other side. And then you want to measure and make sure that these are even on both sides. Fold these two little pieces under, and then sew them in place. And there you go, one more cute bag idea. For more information and tutorials, visit my website, madeeveryday.com. And for more information on sewing machines, go to babylock.com, where it's all for the love of sewing. I'll see you next time. Bye.